What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your review of Black Ink Crew Season 6, Episode 11. So, we are fresh. Sorry, y'all. We are fresh off of the information where we learned that Charmaine did not submit the paperwork for the proper certification, health inspection, all of that when it comes to the tattoo shop. Here's the thing. I'm going to give you a little bit of a pass, Charmaine, because I know you were going through a lot. You were pregnant, your mom, all of that. I'm going to give you a little bit of a pass. But here's my issue, Charmaine. My issue is your lack of urgency. Like, you were like, it's not a big deal. I mean, okay, I didn't get the paperwork in, but I mean, it is what it is. It's going to get done. Stop tripping, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, just like, it's not like I don't know what I'm doing. It's not like I'm a bad businesswoman. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You are running a tattoo shop when you are dealing with body fluids, when you are dealing with blood. There has to be proper inspection. There has to be proper disposal. And what Ryan explained was that tattoo artists in Chicago don't have to be licensed, which I think is interesting. I think y'all should know that about Chicago. Better make sure you checking people's license, but okay. But the shop as a whole has to have a license. And so if the shop is not licensed, not only are you putting everybody in that shop in jeopardy, but the shop itself can be shut down. And the reality is, once they shut something down, it is a whole lot easier to reopen an establishment than to get the proper inspections to begin with. Charmaine, if you hadn't submitted the paperwork or hadn't gotten everything back, then what you should have done is waited. I know you felt pressure. However this is working out between you and Big Fish Entertainment and the storyline, whatever is legit versus what the storyline is, I know there was a sense of urgency to get this done by the time the season started so y'all could do this whole shop versus shop storyline. I get it. But at the end of the day, I'm not putting my name on nothing that ain't legit. So my problem with Charmaine is that there was no sense of urgency on her part. And even when she was talking to the people in the shop, she was acting like it wasn't a big deal. But it is. And I'm not done because I got more. But for right now, I'm done. Now, we find out that Kitty has submitted the proper paperwork and has helped Charmaine submit the proper paperwork. They just got to wait for it to come back. In the meantime, Charmaine has her baby shower. She said, look, Neek has been planning it. It comes at a really bad time, but this has been planned for weeks. You know, it was what it was. And by this time, Charmaine is 7 months pregnant. I mean, it is what it is. So they have to go to New York because that's where Neek's family is. It's from New York. So they're going to New York. And everybody's going to New York for the baby shower except for, I think, Fly didn't go. And, the other one, why I can't never remember his name. Not Phil. What's the baby's name? Y'all know who I'm talking about. The one that dance that walks balls and stuff. I don't know why I can't remember his name. But anyway, so we get another glimpse into Miss Jess. She's down to the she's still in London. She went down to her old stomping ground to the tattoo shop where she used to work. We get to meet all her friends. We get to see all her folks. We see her telling them about how, things were over on the other side of the pond. And, she rehashes the whole story. Ain't nobody going through all that again. When I was looking at this scene, what I started thinking about was, are they setting us up for Black Ink London? Like, I really felt like this was, like, Jess' whole storyline was to segue us into a Black Ink London. And I'm still not sold that that's not what's going on. We met tattoo artists and things like that. Later on in the episode, we see Jess with her best friend. She has a guy best friend. She said that, things never really popped off between us because he always had 500 women. We just became really good friends. But, she's telling him her story and, and we saw her do a tattoo and she said, it reminds me of why I left to begin with because I was just comfortable. I was in my comfort zone. I could do this in my sleep. And so I wanted a challenge. And that's why I went to, America. That's why I took on, the job position in Chicago. So, she decides that she's going to go back to Chicago and I guess, finish what she started, work it out. You know, she remembered why she went to begin with. So we see her call, why I can't remember his name, y'all. But we see her call him and let him know she's coming back, you know. So, okay, there's Jess. We're in New York. We got Charmaine. We have Kitty. They're in the cab on the way to the hotel talking. And, you know, Charmaine, once again, is just talking about the baby shower and the paperwork. And, you know, she's got a million things to do, but she wants to enjoy her baby shower. But she knows she's got to hurry up and get back to Chicago and get the paperwork straight. And, you know, she's pissed off because Ryan dropped some quotes in the article. And basically, Ryan was like, she's no competition. And, you know, Charmaine got upset. Charmaine, there are 2 reasons why you don't have a right to be upset. Reason number 1, you aren't any competition. And I don't think Ryan meant it in a bad way. But at the end of the day, 9 Mag is an established brand in Chicago, with or without this TV show. 9 Mag is an established brand in Chicago. Ryan Henry is an established artist in this industry, or in that industry. 1, you don't even do tattoos. 2, your shop hasn't even been open 6 months. So you are not competition for him. Now, 6 years from now, if y'all are always in the same places doing the same things, if you're getting just as many celebrity clients, if you're getting just as many, you know, if you're making money, if you're branching off, if you're opening up more than one shop, then maybe Ryan will see you as competition. But McDonald's ain't gonna never see the corner store as competition. Period. And that's kind of where Ryan is as far as Chicago. So 1, you ain't have no, like, that should have never pissed you off. 2, aren't you the same person that dropped quotes in the Chicago Tribune about Ryan walking around with loaded guns? That was you, right? Wasn't that you? Like, how you mad? Anyway. So we get to, did we get to the baby shower? Alright, yeah. We get to the baby shower, and there's a few things that's going on at the baby shower, okay? Charmaine looks nice, let me say that. I'm not crazy about the dress she had on, but it was pretty, and she was covered up, and this is what I'm going to say. This is where I will say we have seen growth in Charmaine. She said to Neek's mom, she said, do you like my dress? And his mom was like, turn around. And Charmaine turned around. She said, see, I covered up for you. And Neek's mom said, you did. Thank you so much. You look very, very nice. And I can appreciate that because, see, 2 years ago, Charmaine would have shown up with, you know, a body dress that stopped at the bottom of her crack and her breasts hanging out, and would have had an attitude because Neek's mom had an attitude. You see what I'm saying? So I can appreciate that Charmaine has grown up. I absolutely can appreciate that piece of it. We have the whole Kit and Ryan situation. Look, at the end of the day, here's what that situation boils down to. They are still new in their kicking it, and Ryan doesn't necessarily always know how to act, what the limitations are, what's going too far, what's not going far enough as it relates to him and Kit being in the same room. And same thing with Kit. And Kit is not going to come off looking like she's chasing Ryan or she's thirsty. And Ryan don't want to come off as if he's thirsty. So they're sort of in that uncomfortable, we're still in the early stages of this situationship. And we're not really quite sure what we can expect from each other versus what we can be mad about. You know what I'm saying? And y'all know what I'm talking about when you first meeting somebody and y'all first start hanging out, and you know, Ryan had people in the room that he had messed with, and she's in New York where, you know, that whole Black Ink situation is with Caesar and everything. And so I think both of them were just kind of like waiting to see what the other one was going to do. They had a conversation that I don't think anybody understood but Ryan. Because I was confused by the end, and so was Kit. But ultimately, I think it just boiled down to what I just said. And what I think at the end, Ryan finally admitted, we are dating. We're not boyfriend and girlfriend yet, but we are dating. We kicking it. You know how they use it. They kicking it. But we want to see where this goes. And, you know, Ryan's thing was, I don't know where the situation with Kitty is going to go, but I like where we are. I like where we're going. Boom. All right. They finally sort of admitted what they haven't been admitting. Whatever. Now, the other thing that went down at the baby shower is Jess called Draya. Draya's there. And Jess called Draya to let Draya know that she's coming back. And then she went on to let Draya know, like, look, you know, ultimately, you could lose your license. If you're practicing if you're doing tattoos and unlicensed shop, you could be putting your license in jeopardy. And so of course now Draya is like, say what, say who, what? And she decides that she's going to confront Charmaine at the baby shower. Draya had on a pretty dress too. And Danielle was there, and Danielle was like, wait a minute, like, do you not see that she's at her baby shower? Do you not realize that this might be inappropriate? And Draya was like, I get it, she's at her baby shower, and I'm sorry if I'm causing an issue, but at the end of the day, I need to talk about this, and we need to resolve it, because this could be my license on the line. So they get to arguing, and Charmaine was like, do you really want to know what the reason is? You really want to know what the holdup is? The holdup is when y'all got into that situation when Fly and the other dude got into the situation where they was about to fight over Draya at the shop. She said, we will put on probation. And the owner of the shop, the owner of the building would not sign us to a long-term lease until we had a 3-month probation. So because I didn't have a permanent lease, the rest of the paperwork was held up. But again, I have to say, all of that sounds good, Charmaine. But one, that's the conversation that you need to have with your staff and let them know this is the repercussion of what happened the other day. Even though the other dude ended up leaving the shop or whatever, that's the conversation you need to have. Second of all, Draya, for you to act like it's not your fault that them two men was fighting over you, you were told don't fraternize at work. Jess said it's not a good idea. It never ends well. So don't sit here and act like them fighting over you wasn't something that you were sort of warned about not doing. You were sort of warned about that. But Charmaine, I don't know if I'm 100% buying the situation that's what it was. I think that might be part of it. But I don't know. And if that was the case, one, you let your staff know and you give them the choice as to whether they want to continue to work there until the paperwork is straight. And two, you probably shouldn't have had the shop open. Maybe you should have just focused on planning a big grand opening, putting the word out, doing publicity. Like, I get it that it's money for when you have a business, for every day that goes by that you're not making money, you're throwing money away. I get it. But at the end of the day, you can't have an attitude with Draya for being upset. You can't, Charmaine. As much as Draya might irritate me, Draya has a right to be pissed off at you. And of course, the baby shower wasn't necessarily the best place to do it, but it was what it was. There was a very sweet, sweet moment between Charmaine and Meek's mom. We know that they've had their ups and downs. We know that they've had their issues. And it almost brought a tear to my eye. She said to Charmaine, she said, I could never replace your mom. And I would never even try. But you're my daughter now. I'm your mom now. And I'm going to take care of you. And I'm going to be here for you like your mom would be. And I thought that was the sweetest thing. And I thought it was genuine. And I believe that those two women have come to a good place. They're not going to always get along. They're not going to always, but I think that they've come to a place where she has accepted Charmaine. She has accepted the situation, the marriage, the relationship. And from there, they'll continue to build their own relationship. And I thought it was sweet. I thought it was really, really a sweet thing. Charmaine's dad was there, and she said, it's hard for me to get my dad out the house these days, but he's here. We're celebrating. And she had a moment talking about how hard it's been without her mom and everything like that. So it was genuine. It was a genuine moment. Now, Ryan decided that he wants to be heckling people. He had a little too much to drink, and he was heckling people and making little smart comments about Charmaine and the cake, and stuff that probably wouldn't have bothered Charmaine on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? Probably wouldn't have bothered Charmaine, but of course she was already sort of irritated with Ryan, so of course it did bother her. So she decides that she's going to confront Ryan. And Ron said to her the same thing I said. Like, first of all, you're not my competition. He was like, I'm here to support you. You know I love you. It was never about hurting you. But at the end of the day, you're not my competition, Charmaine. You are not. And weren't you the one that went to the Chicago Tribune and made statements that could have put me in jail? Like, the comparison, there isn't one to what you did versus what happened to me. Like, you could have had me in jail. So, you know, Charmaine, like I said, I sympathize with you because of what you were going through, but you cannot act like everybody else is tripping for having the attitude that they have. You can't act like everybody else is wrong, because they're not. So now, Draya ended up quitting. So now Charmaine is down another artist. But hell, it don't matter, because you ain't even supposed to be tattooing no damn way. And you know, Charmaine is in her feelings because she was like, I am a good businesswoman. You act like I'm not a good businesswoman. And, you know, so it is what it is, y'all. It is what it is, you know. So, y'all, that's pretty much where it ended. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in the comments. Peace.